Now, let's talk about search models. This is fascinating. If you go shopping for a car, a house, a blouse, skirt, pair of pants, in your mind, if you are deep enough, you'll realize that you have a search model already in your head for what you want. Think about that. So, some people don't know that, but when you find it in the store, you're gonna, oh, this is my blouse. Oh, this is the kind of car. Oh, this is the house. Oh, this is, and so people also have search models for mates. So a search model, very important. And search models can come from the negative and they can come from the positive. And of course, if they come from the negative, search models will be about externals first. Remember what an external is? A performance and an appearance. Appearances and performances. Internals will be about character traits. The feelings, yearnings, goals, philosophies, belief systems. So you have an external search model and an internal search model. That guy that says, I like Jeannie because she's a good kisser, is that external search model or internal? He says, I like her because she loves kids, she likes God, she's gentle, she's kind. See, those are more internal traits or search models. Okay, now, how do you find your search model? How do you become aware? Well, you get by yourself and you write down on a piece of paper as fast as you can go, my favorite kind of guy or my favorite kind of girl is, and you just blurt as fast as you can go. So then when you get through, you take a look at those and you see how many internals you have and how many externals you have. Now, what is chemistry? I remember when I was in therapy, my therapist one day said, hey, Sterling, how come whenever you come to the intern parties, you always bring these dark-headed brunette girls with brown eyes and darker skin, and you never go out with blondes? I do too, I said. The defensive comeback. Well, how come you never bring them to the intern parties? Well, I go out with blondes. Just because I can't remember them doesn't mean I never do. I never did. Why? Because my search model was from my kindergarten and first grade teacher. I didn't even know it. So she said, just finish this question as fast as you can go. My favorite kind of girl is, and I said, she has dark hair. She's skinny. She has long arms, long torso, long fingers, and long nails. She has brown eyes. See all those externals? Then I got to, she's nice. She's kind. She's gentle. She never screams or yells, and she never slaps. Where did that come from? My stepmama used to slap me all the time. So just blurt these out as fast as you can go. Then she said to me, okay, there's your perfect woman. Now ask yourself, where did you get this search model from? I don't know. I didn't even know I had it before this. I talked to you. So I looked and looked. Was it my sister? Certainly wasn't my stepmom. Was it someone in the neighborhood that was kind to me when I was little? Maybe my piano teacher. She was real nice to me, but she was blonde. I don't know. So I look and I find out it's Miss McKenna. Who's Miss McKenna? Well, she was my kindergarten teacher. I just loved her because she was so nice to me. I never had a big lady be nice to me. And then the greatest joy of my life is when I went to first grade and they let her become the first grade teacher. And I had another year of eternal bliss. I was almost the first kid to school. Get out of that house and run. And that became my search model. And little did I know that. I was 24, 25 years old. I still had that in there. My search model. A lot of externals. Very important. Now, if you finish the sentence 10 times, 15 times, my favorite kind of guy is, my favorite kind of girl is, and you just blurt. If you want to, lay down. Why? Because when you lay down, your subconscious is bigger than when you stand up. And blurt that stuff out. And try and get the stuff out of you. I like this because, and go down there and get that search model. Then you can turn it into internals and externals. Now, if you meet someone that's your external search model, and you're 20 or whatever when most people marry, you're going to have a lot of chemistry for that person. It's not them you love, it's the bodies that go together with your search model. Now, as you get healthier and wiser, your search model will have lots more things in it, like the visibility things that Brandon talked about, that are internals. Nice, kind, gentle, caring, peaceful, calm, spiritual, whatever your value systems are. And then when you meet that person, there's going to be more electricity. Now, as you can see, if you get more and more in the real self, are all real selves alike? No, but they have some general things that are alike. And that's what draws us to them. And that's why we have on our piece of paper here that when you're with another real self, you have joy, peace, calm, kind. You have a sort of human family love when you have people in type 1. Do all real selves marry? Should all real selves marry? No, because there's something more than just finding another healthy person. And it's called the mystic bond. And the very reason we call it mystic is because it's unexplainable. And we have a lot of sayings about this that we want to talk about. So look at your search models. Be sure your search model is not all external. Go deeper and look for the internals. Now, oh yes, I love this saying. Once in the church newspaper, there was a picture up on the top of 2 groundhogs rubbing noses. And underneath it, it said, "True love is but the discovery of yourself in others." True love is but the discovery of yourself in others and the delight in that recognition. It's quoted from a guy named Alex Smith. I don't know who he was, but it's back in the 1800s. Can you fathom this? True love is but the discovery of yourself in others and the delight in that recognition. Now, I'll prove this to you. How many of you have written down your favorite kind of person? Or do you have it in your head? Okay, now, finish this sentence. I like my real self because she is, or he is. Write down 5 or 6 of those traits. And then look at the stuff you like in your real self and compare with my favorite kind of person is, and what will you see? High similarity. Very, very important. If you love your real self and you're visible to your real self, your search model in your real self, not your negative, will be very similar to your own real self traits. If you love your real self because she is caring and kind and gentle and loves to grow and help others and is spiritual, you're going to be looking for someone like that. Your search model list and your real self list will be very, very similar, which will prove the great saying of Alex Smith, true love is but the discovery of yourself in others and the delight in that recognition. Anyone ever thought about that? It's a cool saying. And that's why Dr. Brandon is so right in talking about be mostly in your real self, visibility of the real self, and then similarity of the real self. And so in true romantic love, you will have internals, and this girl that asked the question, is it true that likes attract or opposites attract? The answer is that inside, likes attract. Outside, opposites may attract. But it's what's inside that counts. Remember that? It's what's inside that counts. Because those are the things that last and grow, and they're timeless and ageless. And through the years, they grow instead of diminish. So if your love target is externals, they will change. If your love target is internals, they will grow, and your love will grow through the years instead of romantic love is a myth that never lasts longer than 24 months. Okay? Very often people say, you know what, Dr. Ellsworth, I thought I finally found the daddy I never had, and I got married. Found the daddy I never had. And then in a couple years, they'll come back and say, you know, my husband is not the daddy I never had. He's the daddy I did have. So think about that when you are marrying someone and see right reasons and wrong reasons to marry. Now, as I contemplated tonight's lecture, I wrote down some of the things I've heard in 45 years of practice, why people marry for wrong reasons. So I'll go over those with you. 20 minutes, we got plenty of time. And where do I learn these things from? I learn them from having people finish the sentence. I married him because. I married her because. And here's what we see. Here's one that often you hear. I married him because everyone else was doing it. Which goes with the second one, it was time. All my roommates were getting married. I didn't want to be an old maid. John asked me, so I jumped. I married him because it was convenient. It was the next thing to do. I also married him because, I'm on number 4, my parents wanted me out. They were tired of me, and it was time for me to get out. I didn't want to go to work. I jumped from the pot into the frying pan. I married to get out of there, to escape a bad parent. All these are wrong reasons to marry, and they'll end in trouble. Tons of trouble, or a split up, or a Cold War, or a peaceful coexistence, or an unpeaceful coexistence. To escape a bad parent, someone that was controlling and critical, and then what will they look for? Very often they'll get someone that looks like they won't be controlling and critical, but later on they will be, or they'll marry a little mousy. See? So marrying symbiotic negative selves is not romantic love. I got married, I copied my parents' symbiosis. We've already been through that. I married him because it was a known, familiar way. Now that's a big one. Think about that. It was a known, familiar way. I knew how to argue. I knew how to fight. I knew how to do the silent treatment. I knew how to be a pleaser. It was modeled to me for 18 years, right? A known, familiar way. But as they grow and they go to therapy and their real self starts to take over their life, they don't want to be married in a known, familiar way. Because all the known, familiar ways were wrong. They want to get in the real self, a known, familiar way. It's easier, it's less scary than an unknown way. Think about that as a reason to marry. I married him because he wouldn't get in my wound.